The NFL stands for not for long.
Set, Sharga and Armstead. Roll out, Walker still running out. Looks to the left, wide open, Thompson touchdown. Colin Thompson with the touchdown. There was nobody within 20 yards.
What a catch off the bobble. Colin Thompson scoops it up.
Lofting corner, the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. The first NFL touch for Colin Thompson is a score.
Jack says he was born ready, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to the Colin Thompson Show. Jack in the back. The Farva stash is rolling. The shades. What hat are you wearing today, Jack?
Is Underdog at Manufacturers. So that was Jason Kelsey's marketing brand golf event they had in Fort Washington, Manufacturers.
Were you there?
I was not there. I was just getting the hat.
You got a hand-me-down from Ross. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know who gave it to me. Somebody.
Yeah. Ross Tucker. The shout out to the Ross Tucker Show. What's the latest on the Ross Tucker Show, Jack? Give a free plug to the show.
Going great. We just are going to be having Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane on the show today because this will, or well, depending when you're hearing it, Wednesday. So yeah.
Okay. No
That's
pull
big.
for us to get Brandon Beane on here. I guess that's fine. We're not run by the DraftKings Sports Network. We're run by Not For Long Media. And you guys saw the breaking news. Excited about Food Drinks Football. This show is technically now Food Drinks Football. I'm Colin Thompson. That's Jack Connell. Presented by our friends over at the Original Fudge Kitchen. You know the drill. They ship across the country. That's the coolest part about them. They bring the Jersey Shore, the saltwater taffy, the fudge. It's made different there. They bring it right to your house. I asked Joe Bogle, who created it, 50 years of business. Why it's different. He said the salt air, the humidity. That's why fudge is made really well at the shore. I was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm in a different mood when I'm down there, Jack. A little salt air, good for the soul. Maybe get out of Hatboro once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe one day.
It's overrated. You and Lancers, that's all you need. And a nice walk around the elementary school where you went, waving to the high school teachers, something like that. That's definitely.
Can't be going around claiming that people are walking around elementary schools that are just out of school.
Especially with a mustache like yours, we cannot be doing that. Absolutely not. That's neither here nor there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, fudgekitchens.com. They'll ship to Jersey Shore the sweet treats, the fudge, the saltwater taffy, chocolate, peanut butter, vanilla fudge. Love them. Mint chocolate chip. Love that. Maple walnut. Love that. Chocolate covered pretzels. That's the GOAT. Don't get it twisted. And chocolate covered strawberries. Always a great gift. Mix it up. Holiday season's coming, Jack. About to be November. Give me your top 5 Halloween candies. What do you got, Jack? Just give me one. We're not going to do it. What's your favorite?
I like cow. I mean, it's always been the controversial one. I love cowtails. That's the one I just go to because it's so it gets so boring when you hear peanut M&Ms and Kit Kats. Like you got to throw a curveball in there. Cowtails.
Yeah, the only answer is Reese Cups, and the full
I mean,
or a full size Hershey bar. But that's neither here nor there.
They're both great. It's basic.
Yeah. All right, we'll just do a little food drinks football segment, kind of bars of the week. Jack did a little Dock Street on Saturday. Had amazing fish tacos. That was fantastic. Couple cold beers. Saturday after that, went to Pussers, said goodbye to the legendary Pussers that's leaving Annapolis. Of course, had to have an orange crush there. RIP to Pussers. Did a little Fox's Den, really fantastic place in Annapolis that has pizza. It's kind of an underground pizza place. Great food, great TVs, great drinks, awesome different beer selection, awesome spot. And then, of course, Monday nights, you can't beat it. Heroes for steaks, Jack. They have a New York strip deal that's Rockstar. Mario and their staff there are Rockstar. So a little food drinks football bar of the week. A couple cool places we've hit this past weekend. Keeping it moving here. I want to talk about my friend Bradley Bozeman, presented by Guardian Caps. That's right. The best headwear you can wear that all NFL teams are using. Guardian Caps. Check them out. Bradley Bozeman. We saw him absolutely smoke one of the defensive players from the Saints after he was rolling up and trying to tackle Justin Herbert, who has an ankle injury, right? So seems like a little bit of a targeted attack, but I was so fortunate to not just play with Bose, who's a great player, who was awesome with the Ravens, built a legacy there. He was awesome with Carolina, and now he's showing how awesome he is in LA. Great player, but honestly, off the field, I've never played with someone so giving. Him and his wife and their family are tremendous. They're great friends. They're great parents. They're philanthropic. They've been so great to Cindy and I. Just unbelievable. Everywhere they go, they have a lasting impact, period. Off the field, on the field, coaching staff, administrative, their philanthropy, the way they give back is unbelievable. Please support their charity. And again, just a little snippet here we'll show for social media of Bose at the Ravens, showing how much he cares, not just about the organization, but about the fans. So you won't hear it on the pod here, but you'll see it on social media. Just I wanted to give Bose a shout out. One of the best centers and best people in the NFL. Jack, let's talk about your Eagles, buddy. I mean, I know it's not your Eagles, blah, 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 but I was impressed. I'll take a breather here and let you talk about them. As Lane Johnson said, not you and I, they were not constipated this week offensively.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I watched it live and I really haven't watched it since, but watching it live, it was absolutely their most complete all-around game of the season. I personally think it's their best game they've played in over 2 seasons. I think it was better than any showing they had last year, despite the record and all that. I mean, you look at it, back-to-back 20-point wins. It's just Jalen Hurts was doing all of it. There's a big hubbub. Granted, we kind of created the controversy of Jalen Hurts this week with our clip from the show, but he just looked a lot cleaner. He looked more confident. He was more precise with his throws. There was just, it was all the intangible things. It looked like he was just more comfortable doing. He was more aggressive running the football, not in design runs, but just taking it up the middle, getting a few yards with it. And it wasn't overly aggressive. Like, he knew when to slide. He didn't take any bad hits. It's just all around was a really comfortable showing in the secondary. I mean, it's headlined by these young guys. Like, I mean, no disrespect to Darius Slay. I think he was tremendous career, but it looks like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell look great out there. And I feel like there's a noticeable bump when Slay is not out there, to be completely honest with you.
Great points. Great points. Listen, I thought the Eagles played fantastic. And like you said, I think it's the best they've played since that Super Bowl loss. It was a fun watch. And when I went back and watched the film, it was even a better watch. You could see how they built the offense week to week. We're going to show this, and then we're going to build a little bit of that on top of it, right? It was a lot of continuity offensively. Here's what we're going to do. Good luck stopping it. We're going to line up with 2 tight ends and run wide zone week, the first play of the game and the first play of the second half. We're going to take shots down the field. We're going to run some RPOs. We're going to have runs where we're just handing the ball to Saquon Barkley and go make a million people miss and get behind our really good offensive line. And then we're going to have runs aside where Saquon's playing fullback and leading up on linebackers for a really good downhill running threat in Jalen Hurts. That was really impressive to me. They spread the football out. Defensively, there was passion, there was energy, there was juice. It felt like Eagles football that they're trying to be, the Broad Street Bullies, mimic the blue-collar nature of the city. And honestly, Jack, the play of the game for me is when Saquon Barkley could have easily just ran out of bounds. He put his foot in the ground, ran over a guy, and got a first down. I'm like, well, Saquon heard the criticism probably from the staff, from the fans, from the media, like, hey, man, you can't run out of bounds. You got to get the first down. That's what you're here to do. So that was really cool to see that they got better at their weaknesses. Because before, you'd be like, man, they have the talent, but they're not getting better week to week. The challenge is, can you do it a 3rd week in a row? Can you do it a 4th week in a row? Can it be a smooth watch? Yes, there's going to be mistakes. That's football. But is it a smooth watch? And I thought last week for Cincinnati, who still got great football players and great coaches, it was a smooth watch. It really was.
Yeah. I mean, it was just one thing. Like, they just looked like the one thing that stood out to me defensively is, like, one of their big issues earlier in the season is they couldn't tackle for a lick. Like, I don't know what it was, but you just look, there's more aggressive tackles. The prime example that comes to mind was Cooper DeJean coming over on the Jamar Chase 4th down play.
Flying
like a little bubble pass. Yeah, it flew down and made a play. It was tremendous.
Yeah, it really was. No doubt about it, Jack. I want to address something, too, more society-wise. Jerod Mayo coming out and, quote-unquote, calling his team soft. He said, we played soft today. He wasn't coming at every individual saying you're not a good person or you're not a tough football player, but we played soft and they haven't won. So what do you expect them to say? I respect it. Challenge your people, coach your people, set expectations, have high accountability, high standards, have a process of how you're going to handle it, and then see how everyone responds. That's life. That's the business world. That's the high pay world of the NFL. If we don't win, we will get fired and lose our jobs. That's real. And the action was real against a really talented Jets team that needed to win too. You can argue the Jets need to win way more than the Patriots. We know what's going on with the Patriots this year. So I give major props to Coach Mayo. I give major props to those players. There's people from the outside taking shots, the former coaches taking shots, and Coach Belichick. So huge win. There's some great people in that locker room. I know a lot of the coaches in front office. They're awesome people. So you get called out by your coach publicly, you back it up, and New England did. Ton of respect. Lastly, I want to touch on some of the head coaches in waiting, brought to you by our friends over at Guardian Caps. Again, all 32 NFL teams use Guardian Caps. Your high school team should be using it. Thousands and thousands and thousands of college football teams use it. Shout out to Guardian Caps. One of the best products I ever wore. I wish I had my entire career. Head coaches in waiting, Brian Flores. Liam Cohen. Really impressive what's going on down there in Tampa. I'll start this over, Jack. My head coaches in waiting, Brian Flores, what he's done in Minnesota, really impressive. How he handled the Tua situation, really impressive. Liam Cohen, what he's doing down there calling plays in Tampa after Coach Canales left, he comes from that Sean McVay, Shanahan tree, goes to college at Kentucky. Liam Cohen, keep an eye on what they're doing down there in Tampa. Pretty impressive. Cliff Kingsbury goes without saying. What he's done with Jaden Daniels, the experience he had as the head coach before, he'd probably do it much differently and be much better his second time around. Steve Spagnuolo, I don't know if he wants a job or not, but the amount of positive cultures he's been around with the Giants and the Eagles and Kansas City now, that guy is a wealth of knowledge and would bring tons of success, toughness, passion. Todd Monken with Baltimore. He's been waiting his turn. Their offense is clicking now. They're finding new ways to have success, do different things. Lamar looks comfortable. Todd Monken has a lot to do with that. I think he'd be a great head coach. And then Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, along with Ben Johnson, the OC for the Lions. Those two are elite coaches, and they could be up for head coaching jobs next year. Jack, who'd I miss?
I feel like you hit it on the head. This is a very interesting year. Like, I don't know. It seems like every year with coaching jobs, like there's always like 10, 15 names are always in the mix. It just seems like there's a really consistent 5-6 names that keep coming up. I mean, I have heard Rex Ryan. I mean, they're not completely side note to you, but I just think it's hilarious that I've seen like 20 people call for the Jets to bring back Rex Ryan, like Jeff Saturday with the Colts, just middle of the season. Maybe put Rex Ryan's name in there.
Rex Ryan. Rexy. Guy's a legend. All right, Jackie, that's it. Anything else we got to touch on here? I mean, listen, I try not to beat people up with the same stuff, but man, Chicago Bears. Tough look, bro. Tough look.
What about him? Wait, you talking to what? What about him?
The loss. What do you mean? The Hail Mary. What are you, under a rock?
I don't know. You're smiling like I said something about the Bears. Like
you're under
like,
a Hatboro Bridge. Is there even a bridge in Hatboro?
I don't know. Probably.
Food Drinks Football, Jack. What have you been consuming? Anything fun?
No. Nothing.
Come on, Jack. Did you have a good meal this weekend?
No, nothing. Like very normal. Just I don't really want to get my nothing really.
I want to go through let's break down your meal plan. Let's go to the phones. Ground beef or ground turkey?
We are not breaking down my meal habits on air.
Let's talk about your popcorn, though. I do want to talk about that. Jack has a major problem with popcorn costs. And I do agree with him. A bag of popcorn costs what, 50 cents?
That.
How much does it cost at a movie theater?
It's like $15, $20. It's absurd.
Do you have the butter?
Well, yeah, now they got the self-serve butter machines.
That's not even butter. You know that, by the way.
I don't know. Oil, something.
Can't be good for you. All right, that's it. Anything else we got to talk about, Jack? College football. I mean, listen, what a great weekend that was. I'm going to pull this up, and we got time. I don't care. I guess it's our show, right? We can do what we want. I'll tell you what. Keep it on Colorado now, Jack. Keep it on Colorado. Keep it on the Buffs. Let's see who they finish up with. Texas Tech, they've been okay this year. Utah, they've been up and down this year. Kansas, Oklahoma State. If they run the table, are they in? They're 6-2. They're 23rd right now. That's what I want to see. Like these teams that are ranked like 23rd, 22nd, like they can make a nice run here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's tough because they sit fourth in the Big 12. They're behind Iowa State and BYU, who are both undefeated, and then they're behind Kansas State, who
SMU's in the ACC. Yeah,
and then they're behind Kansas State, who they lost to head to head. So
Saturday, yeah,
I can't see them put if obviously there's a lot to go there in the season, but it's hard to see them putting in 4 Big 12 teams in the college football playoffs.
Yeah,
because you're talking about you get 7 at-large bids. Are you going to put 3 of your 7 at-large bids as the Big 12?
Who knows? I don't know. I've got a great game this weekend, ACC-wise. Pitt, who is that? What did I say? Pitt, SMU. That's going to be a great game, both ranked. How about Nebraska this weekend? Shout out to the Cornhuskers, GBR. Obviously a big Cornhusker fan because of Matt Rule and Robbie Dvorak and Gary McGuire. And, I mean, the endless. I know a bunch of guys out there. Corey Campbell, Sean Patton, great group of guys that have been so good to me. To see them really should have beat Ohio State. The way they hung with them, pretty impressive. 21-17, that was a great game. Oregon ran over Illinois. I mean, Oregon being a little turbulent to start the year. Everyone's like, oh, they don't look the same. Yeah, right. See how that goes. BYU, man, they're the truth. Like, it's going to be fun. There's going to be some different teams in the mix this year. I think that's the impact of NIL. Like, look at Vandy. They're not going to be in anything. But there are hanging with teams. Boise State, Jack, your team, your running back, you keep talking about him. He was impressive. I watched the first quarter. Yeah,
I'm far from I only told him because there's 2 of us on the show. I'm far from the first person to ever mention Ashton Genty is good at football. The most interesting story to me in college football right now is Texas A&M, because this was a team that looked not great at all. Not bad, but for their standards, not great at all coming out the gate. They just mid-game switch in Marcel Reed for Connor Weigman. Connor Weigman came into this season as potential first-round pick caliber quarterback. He was considered one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And now they look like a completely different team with Reed under center. I mean, he's a lot more – he only completed 2 passes, but he was running the ball all over last week. So, yeah. I mean, they're ranked 10th. That's a team that can – I mean, if they're winning in at this point as an at-large. But, I mean, that's a team that story in itself is fascinating. The fact that you can be a top 10 team, make a quarterback switch, and be even better. Like, the last time I could think of something like that was not necessarily benching, but just Ohio State, whenever that was all those years ago, like JT Barrett and all that.
Yeah, no, it's great points. Top 25 wise. Talk about spreading the wealth. Like, these are teams that are in around the top 25, like NIL situations, which this is the positive NIL for sure. Right? We know Memphis has NIL. They're near the top 25. Illinois definitely has some NIL money. They're near the top 25. Right? Like Washington State, how much do they have? Army has none, Navy has none, but they are about building it from the ground up. So it's really cool to see them be in the mix. Like Pitt definitely has a little NIL. They're in the mix. SMU, we know they have a bunch. Boise State, I bet they're close to $1 million this year, 750. Indiana, they have a brand new roster, new coach, everything. You know they got some NIL to get those guys in. And then also talent acquisition. Then Clemson just doesn't believe in transfer portal at all, but they definitely believe in NIL to retain their roster. That's impressive. Right? So there's some teams in the mix here. BYU. Awesome. Miami, they were dead as a program. Dead. I mean, really. And look at them now. I mean, they're rolling. 5th in the country. Pretty impressive. And then, of course, Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State. We know what goes on there. No doubt about it. Notre Dame knows what goes on there. This weekend, Jack, hell of a lineup. What do we got? Ohio State, Penn State, noon. I hate that. Like, why at noon? You know? People got stuff to do. That's 9 a.m. out west. I don't like that. I know the big noon kickoff. They have good ratings with that, but that should be a night game. No doubt about that. Oregon, Michigan for the year maybe look better than it is now. Florida, Georgia. You never know. Florida's playing better, but this is a rough one there. Okay, then you got Saturday night, Pittsburgh, SMU. That's a good game. Pittsburgh looked awesome against my boys at Syracuse, sadly. South Carolina A&M. A&M's on the road after a huge win over LSU. How they're going to respond. And let's go to the phones. Jackie. No, we're not going to go to the phones here on the Colin Thompson Show. Appreciate everybody listening. Like I said, everything's kind of moving over to Food Drinks Football. I'll do my show, of course. Have to. And have some fun with it. I love doing it. And have some guests on periodically. And we'll talk a little bit of NFL, talk a little college football. And we'll rock and roll. stay tuned for more Food Drink Football content. That's Jack Connell with the fantastic stash and the free gift and all the gifts behind his head. I'm Colin Thompson with the Cape May Brewing Company Midway hat, freshman year, offensive lineman of the year, Trenchman Award, and a couple of weird pictures saying that I played in the NFL behind me. So, all right, Jack, I got dad brain. I'm exhausted if you can't tell, and I hope everyone has an awesome day. Thanks for tuning in, and special thanks to our friends over at Guardian Caps and our friends over at the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. Jackie.